Hello, welcome to my Lab 9 final project. So I attempted to build a cotton candy machine out of cardboard and duct tape. So let's start out by looking at what I have here. So it is essentially, it's kind of hard to see, but inside of this I have a DC motor and a thermistor, and the DC motor is attached to this stir flag right there. So the idea basically is you put cotton candy syrup inside this little cup. Cotton candy syrup is basically molten sugar. So the heat will trigger the thermistor. And then once the thermistor detects that there is cotton candy syrup inside this, it'll start triggering the motor to start spinning. Now I'm going to be putting this cup on top of it. This cup has a couple of holes poked into the side, as you can see. So basically it'll spin around the molten sugar and push it against the walls, and little strands will come out, and that's going to be the cotton candy. So going to our little circuit here, the first thing you can see is a battery pack. This is 3 AA batteries. I've got a voltage divider set up here to read the thermistor, and I have an H bridge to trigger the DC motor. Now let's go to my Arduino code. Basically, I start out, but before I get to the code, here is the turbine spinning without anything in it. Let me go over briefly I'll go over my Arduino code. Basically, I declare all my variables here, and I set a threshold value. So this is the temperature where it decides that once it reaches this temperature, it can safely assume that there's syrup in the reservoir. And additionally, it doesn't actually trigger until I get 10 consecutive readings above the threshold value. And then once it does get that, it transmits it to my processing code. A lot of this is somewhat similar to my Lab 8 oscilloscope, but I'm basically reading in a string, saving some values, converting it to numbers, and then printing this, the current temperature and the threshold. And then this circle represents, the red one, or pink one, represents the temperature. It gets bigger as it gets hotter readings. So it helps you visualize it. In case, alright, I'm here in my garage in case this goes poorly. I've got molten sugar right here. I'm going to pour it in and then put this cup over it. So there's the processing code. Pour in the molten sugar and cover it, and there. See? There we go. The temperature increased and it did run. Didn't work as well as I hoped, but I did get a product. It's gonna be more of like a more candy than cotton candy, but still I got the code to run, which I am very happy about.